So I'm Utkarsh Gupta, and this is the beginning of winter camp from the side of Electronics Club. ठीक है, so हम लोग अभी 6-5 तक वेट करेंगे थोड़ा, ताकि तुम लोग के और जिनको भी फ्रेंड्स को ज्वाइन करना है कर लें. और एक चीज और, मतलब कल से जो है टाइमिंग्स थोड़ी सी पीछे कर दी हम लोगों ने. तुम लोग का अपेरेंटली काउंसलिंग सर्विस का एक सेशन है, एंड थोड़ा टेक वीक का भी बच्चे कह रहे थे, एंड एमएनसी के फ्रेशर्स की भी प्रैक्टिस है. सो इस सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए शेड्यूल में कुछ चेंजेस हैं. एसएनटी सेकी से तुम लोग के पास एक मेल आ जाएगा. नो इश्यूज विद दैट. और बाकी ऐसा है कि ये जो कोलैब नोटबुक अभी मेरी स्क्रीन पे खुली हुई है, होपफुली तुम लोग को दिख रही होगी. ठीक है, सो इस कोलैब नोटबुक का लिंक स्लैक चैनल पे भी जा चुका है, Y20 चैनल पे. ठीक है, तो वहां से जिसको भी, मतलब वो लिंक तुम लोग चाहो तो फॉलो अलोंग करने के लिए यूज कर सकते हो अभी. ठीक है, एंड रिकॉर्डिंग्स वगैरह की चिंता ना करो, वील सी व्हाट वी कैन डू. ठीक है, और एक चीज और, मतलब ठीक है, बाकी तो ये सिंपल ही है. यहाँ पे मतलब जाके तुम लोग यहाँ पे क्लोन नोटबुक कर सकते हो, क्रिएट अ कॉपी, और उस टाइप की चीजें आती है जब भी तुम्हें एक नॉन एडिट सेशन कर लो. उसका क्या विल दिस सेशन. ठीक है, मैं चैट के क्वेश्चंस देख के थोड़ा आंसर कर देता हूँ अभी जल्दी से, जब तक हम लोग वेट कर रहे हैं तब तक. Will this session be useful if I have learned Python in 11th and 12th? To be honest, maybe not, क्योंकि 11th 12th में जितना Python पढ़ाया जाता है हम लोग उतना ही पढ़ाएंगे. Okay, so English please. Okay, cool. So, okay, apparently there are not many native Hindi speakers in this batch, so no issues with that also. So, cool. So, maybe not, this session might not be that useful if you have already learned Python in 11th and 12th. This session is basically, designed to cater those people who haven't got any exposure to programming as such. Most of you, even those who are in batch 2, I guess, who are having ESC this sem, haven't completed that much. So yeah, will we be okay, so cool. Should I record the session? I don't think so you can, but if you want you can. No issues with that. We have a quiz on every Thursday, 5:30 to 6. Please consider this in the new schedule. On every Thursday, 5:30 to 6. Okay, like let's see what we can do. Before mailing today, I'll just please share the link of collab here. Okay, sure. Do we have to install Nano Notepad++ for Git? Not necessarily. That's completely up to you. Any text editor will do. Like we usually use Visual Studio, Atom, anything like that. Anything you want. No issues with that. Even a simple notepad can do. But if you want to follow along on your local machine, definitely get one of these. Is the session only about Python or something else will be taught? The session for today and tomorrow is related only to Python. After that, we'll be moving on to the other concepts as can be seen in the schedule. We have a ESC lab every Thursday from 2 to 5. So no issues with that. We know that. Ideally can be used. Yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead. If you can find normal extensions and stuff for that. No issues with that. And yeah, so I request everyone to like join the Slack channel, because most of the things that we don't mail will be available directly on Slack. So PyCharm, yeah, whatever you want to use. We would suggest Collab because you don't have to install anything, but it's completely your choice, whatever you want to install, like ID or anything. As far as you are comfortable with installing that, we don't have any issues. Is it okay if I'm a beginner in programming? I would say it is even okay if you're a noob in programming or have heard the word programming for the very first time right now. No issues with that as well. Okay, so I think it's time and we can start. It's already 6:05, so let's start. So first of all, let me talk to you what exactly Python is and why we are studying it. So Python is a high-level programming language. I won't be taking any more questions on the chat right now. We are starting the session. Shivam and Prakhar are right here. They'll be answering your questions if needed. So yeah. So first of all, let's talk about Collab Notebook. So Collab Notebook, as I said, is a way by which you can run and execute and type and do whatever you want with your Python code inside a browser without installing anything okay, in your local system. That helps in our so this chat is a bit scavenger hunt from tomorrow, whatever. Okay, so yeah, so Python is a high level programming language and we use it to code stuff. So why coding? Like coding is the language you use to talk to the computers and get stuff done. Okay, so that's all I have to say regarding this. This is a very basic introduction to programming, like what is programming and all that stuff we don't need to get into. Okay, so Azaz Hussain has raised a hand right in the very beginning, so you can go ahead, unmute yourself. I think so you are allowed to unmute yourself and speak. Ajaz Hussain. Okay, I guess he lowered his hand or something.
He's saying to record this lecture.
Yeah, so this lecture is currently being recorded, no issue. That we'll share the recording later on. We just don't want you to miss out on the live sessions for the simple reason that you won't be able to ask the questions. Maybe not in between, but definitely towards the end also you won't be able to have the live interaction we have planned for now. Okay, so I told you about Collab Notebook. I told you about what Python is. So like in order to use this Collab Notebook, there are two ways. You can either download this by exporting it. Okay, so if you can see, save a copy. Okay, so save, where is this? Download.ipynb file. So this like gives you the ability to store it as a local file on your system, and you can run that using Jupyter Notebook, or you can run Google Colab as we are doing right now, like this link. So you can go to collab.google.com, upload that very file, and create your own local instance. Okay, so like you don't need to get into that much detail for now. We can just move on and see what actually the meat of the session is. Some points to remember. Okay, so some of you might be here from a language like C, Java, or something like that, that are statically typed languages, and that those that use semicolon and stuff. So in that, indentation is optional, but those who are new, you can just skip whatever I'm saying for now. In Python, we use tab in order to provide proper indentation. So the tab key on your keyboard is very essential while using Python. Tab is basically a set of 4 white spaces, but you need to be consistent with this. Like either use tabs or 4 white spaces in your code, not both at the same time, because that is a separate kind of error in Python altogether. Similarly, now let's talk about what are comments. So comments is a line of code that you write in your code in order to make it more expressive. It doesn't do anything. It just helps some other programmer to understand what you have written. So for example, the green line here is a comment. It won't get executed. It doesn't matter whatever you write. No issues with that. Okay. But it's just handy in order for someone to like understand your code. Similarly, this hash symbol is used to mark comments. So if you can see this, I would request. Okay, Anshuman 20 has raised his hand. What's your question?
Sorry, it was my mistake.
Okay, no issues. Okay, so I think you all understand like what a comment is. So okay, now let's start with a simple operation. Like what let's see what you can do with this code. This line of code that you say here, print hello world. I'll execute it by clicking this play button right left to it, and yeah, run anywhere, no issues with that. Okay, so once you press this run, you run this block of code. It says hello world. So this act of returning something and printing it on screen is known as printing or output of the program. So hello world is output of this one-liner program. This is an actual program statement. This is a comment. And if you put a hash behind it, it also becomes a comment and it will return nothing. So because there is no code, it won't print anything. But this will. So I think you all get the point, like what is a print statement? A print statement is used to return something to a user to display something on the screen. So if you write something else, like something else maybe, so and run this code, something else will be printed. Okay, so this is a print statement, very basic stuff. Please, okay, I'll just skip the chat. Okay, now moving on, okay, so this was what is a print statement, very basic stuff. If anyone like has a doubt in up till this point can ask. I'll take a minute of a break. I'll restart from 6:12, 6:11 right now.
I
Any
have a
issues
doubt.
with that? Oh, yeah, sure.
No,
Go
not.
ahead.
How do we print double quotes? Like if you have to print double quotes, then
Okay, yeah. So, okay, like very quick of you to observe that we use double quotes in order to see. See, we'll be seeing print statement in greater detail later on, but just because you asked, we use this. This is called an escape character, and we use this to print something that is like has some other meaning in Python. For example, a double quotes can be printed using this. So when I run it, it will say something else. So this is basically what I'm trying to say. A backslash forward by a double quote will help you print this. No, Kumar Saurav, you are using the wrong kind of slashes. We'll talk about this when we get to strings. No, don't worry about that. We'll talk in greater detail. Someone else was also raising their hand. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying that I have joined late, like I have joined on
Okay.
6-9. So have I missed something important?
No, nothing apart from what is a print statement.
Okay, so will recording would be available or not?
Yeah, the recording will be available for everyone.
Okay, so I
Okay.
would catch up from that.
Yeah, sure. Now let's move on. So next thing that we are going to talk about is data types. So, okay, now when you started learning about maths in class, maybe prep or something, you were taught about 1, 2, 3, 4. These are what are called the decimal numbers, whole numbers. Okay. And then later on, you were taught about the decimal system as a whole, wherein we use an exponential mantissa thing like 2.2 and stuff. Then after that, you were told about Argand's plane and all that stuff. So there comes the imaginary number and the complex number. So similarly, here we have 3 types of numeric data: int, float, and complex. So int is basically any integer, as the name suggests. Float is all the floating point values like 2.2, 4.1, anything like that to any precision. Python is very good with precision, so to speak. And okay. Then we have the complex number. So complex number, as the name suggests, the complex numbers 3 plus 4i and 4 plus 9j and all that stuff. So you can mix int and float in the real parts and imaginary parts respectively to create proper complex numbers in Python directly. Next, okay, so once you have it, so int, float, and complex, these are the numeric types on which you can perform addition, subtraction, and all the regular stuff that you do, the BODMAS and all those kind of things, the computation, so to speak. Next type, we have a character type. So if you see closely, in the print statement that I referred above, there were double quotes, and inside that there was some text. Okay, so this text within the double quotes is known as a string. Okay, a string is anything enclosed within double quotes. So even this is a string. Anything is a string. Even some number, numeric value written inside a double quotes is a string. Okay, this is a number. This will be a number, but this will be a string. Okay, and a string is basically made up of various characters. So let's break it that way. What is a character? So a character is a single letter on your keyboard. So a character is written like this. A single small a is a character. A capital A is a character. A 6 is a character. Anything on your keyboard is a character as long as it's single and like present within single quotes. Okay. So this is what is a character. And a character, like a set of characters, is a string. I'll open the chat again. Let's see. Yeah, so this is a character and a string. So we'll elaborate more on what is a string in more detail as and when we reach string later on. Next, we have a Boolean type. So, okay, uh, most of you guys have done something of a digital electronics or Boolean algebra in class 12th. Yes or no? Just refer to me in the chat. Are you aware with the concept of computer being run by zeros and ones, high and low, like everyone? Yeah, okay,
Yes.
okay, I get the point. Cool, 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 cool. So essentially, a bool value is nothing but a true or a false. Like it can take only two values, a true or a false. If it's true, it's true. It's false, false. Okay. So yeah. So anything like this. So a capital TRU is a true, and this is a bool value, as you can see, like it's showing here a bool. So if you print true, it says true. And yeah, and similarly we have false in Python. May like the key catch, the thing to note here is it starts with a capital F and a capital T, and secondly it's not enclosed within a like double quotes. If you put double quotes, it no longer remains a Boolean value, it becomes a string. The output will be the same because like Python internally converts everything to string while printing, but this here is what do you call a basic typecasting situation. We'll talk about that later. Then other than that, we have some other data types like list, dictionary, and tuple. Don't worry about that right now. We'll talk about those in later details as and when we progress. These are just here so as to like when you are like later on seeing this notebook, you get the point. Some people are saying no, so I think it refers to that you don't know about digital electronics. So simply put, there are two kinds of values, true and a false, a 1 and a 0, high and a low. Anything that are antagonistic to each other can be used to like determine the state of a system. So this is it for Boolean algebra, to be very honest. And then you have various operations like and, or, not, etc. We'll talk about those later on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Like if we type true without any codes, is it case sensitive? Yes, it is, and it won't work. Okay, so let's see. If you type false, it will treat as a variable. So we'll talk about variables later on, just after data type. So it will create an error because name false is not defined. Same for true as well. Yeah, so it's not defined. So either you have to use a capital T or within quotes if you want to print true. So yeah, true is a keyword, it's just a logic gate. Okay. True is not a logic gate, true is a Boolean value. There's a difference between Boolean gates and Boolean values. Then okay, so if we want to like this type function, I don't think so we need to talk about this right now because you don't know about variables and you won't be able to like understand the full utility of this. But essentially, if you like just type, you want to find what is the type of this. You are like saying this, what is the type of this? So type of this is a string. Class str means string. Similarly, if you type true, it will show bool. And then if you like just type something like that, that will be an error because true is not defined. Okay, and then if you type some number, it will be a integer, follow it by some points, it will become a float. Okay, so this is pretty much it. What type does. Type is a keyword to find what type of value is stored in a particular variable. Now let's talk something about variables. So let's see, variables. So you all have studied algebra, not Boolean algebra, general algebra. Okay, so yeah, so you all have studied algebra. You all are familiar with the concept of using letters in maths. XYZ, let this be X. So essentially whatever we talk about right now is those X's in the programming sense. So let the value of X be X. So X is equal to 10 and all that stuff. So X is the variable. X is a letter or a symbol that you use to denote a value that you don't know or that might change while solving the problem. For example, you find the value of X. You don't know the value of X initially. It appears when you solve the problem later. Okay. So let's see. And similarly, there are like variables, there are some values that you know for sure. Like a simple 4 is a constant. Those values are called constant. So example 46. 46 is a constant. You know the value of 46. It's 46, obviously. And C is equal to 46. Let's say there is a statement like, okay, let's see. Int var is equal to 4. Okay. Now 4 here is a constant. You know the value of 4. It's 4. But int var, the name int var here is a variable. It's a block of memory. It's a block of memory address that is allocated and named as int var internally, so that you can refer to it later on. So, for example, int var is stores the value 4. So int var is the variable, 4 is the constant, and the constant 4 is stored inside the variable int var. Okay, so for the last time, I would like to make it clear. I'll provide, like, this lab link has already been shared. One, and second, this entire lecture will be available on YouTube as a playlist later on. So please don't spam the chat with that. Okay. Now, okay. So first of all, I would like to take a moment here and ask if there were some problems in data types, like before moving on to the variables, because it will become very tricky if I move on to variable and you guys are not like completely sure with at least the basic data types there. So any issues, just raise your hands, unmute yourself and ask. What is bool? Okay, so a bool is a type of value. So like let's see, you have can you explain complex again? Expected you all to know complex numbers, like, okay, but a plus ib form. So a plus ib is a complex. Yeah, okay, cool. So Boolean. So in decimal number system, I think you all are familiar with number system, at least. If not decimal number system, you all know about decimal number system, in which we have 10 values ranging from 0 to 9. Okay, so this 0 to 9 is essentially what we call the decimal number system. Similarly, in Boolean, instead of 0 to 9, we just have two values, a 0 and a 1, or alternatively a true and a false in this case, for example. Okay, so this is what Boolean is. You try to express everything in terms of these two values. And like, if you want to get into more details, you can like read about it in any digital electronics course or anything like that. Even class 12 level, I'm very sure you must have been taught. Like, I'm pretty sure this is a part of JEE Mains, but I'm not very sure how come you all missed that part. But okay, moving on. Apart from that, any like questions or things regarding that? If Boolean is 0 and 1, why it is not in int? You can say Boolean is a subset of int, maybe. Yeah. So internally, to be very honest, internally, all these types are expressed in so-called Boolean values, actually binary, but okay, Boolean and binary are pretty much the same in this context. So internally, everything is represented as binary. So you can say it's also an integer. Definitely, it's an integer. No issues with that. But you need to make some distinctions. Here, I'm saying 0 and 1 in terms of false and true, not in terms of. Okay, so let's see if this resolves your doubt. X is equal to 0 will be shown as a int, but X is equal to false will be shown as a Boolean. I think so. This should clear out your doubt. Okay, I think so. It should. Any other doubts regarding these basic types, at least? I'll take it as a no in about 30 seconds and move on if there are no issues. Like, I would suggest like take the opportunity and ask, no matter, like, this is basically catered towards beginners. I might be like, okay. Okay, so this is a Python notebook. Okay, one by one. So this is a Python notebook that we can like type code and comments in a well-structured way, and like later on just export it or share the link. So this is pretty much it regarding Python notebook. Don't worry about that. Python notebook is basically used to like collaboratively code, not in Git sense, but in this sense. I missed int-var thing. I think you can refer to the lecture recordings when we share that. What is type? Type is a function that okay. So don't ask me what is a function, and that will like take a recursive cycle, and I don't want to get into that. But type is a function that helps you know the data type of a value. So for example, here if I store some value in X, you can like understand what is the type of value in X. The use of this won't be clear right now. It will be clear as in when you like start coding proper things, this language. Okay, so moving on.
Just excuse me.
Yeah,
I
sure.
joined late, so what were the softwares required for this class to get started?
Nothing as of now. No, nothing. All you need to do is just use this link that has been shared in the chat earlier and is also present on Slack. Just open the link, create a copy of this, similar to how you create a copy of Google Doc, and then just start running it. The console is
Okay.
very friendly, and if you are opening it for the first time, you can just use the help menu as well. It's
Okay.
pretty much very straightforward. Don't worry about that.
Can you share the link once more, please?
It has been shared by Ayush Kumar in the chat right now. Okay. So let's move on. Let's talk about variables now. So variables, as I said, you said that it is not a logic gate and it is different from a keyword. Can you please explain that? Which part are you referring to? The point that I said that true is not a logic gate? Yeah. So true is not a logic gate. Okay, so what is a logic gate? Like, I think so this debate will take a different turn in the territory of digital electronics rather than programming in general. So I would advise you to like contact me later on. I can explain the doubt, but I would suggest that we can move on right now. We'll tackle this later on because this is more of a digital electronics route rather than a programming route. So now let's talk about variables. So how you denote a variable is using variable names. So variable name, as you can see, there are certain rules that you need to follow. So anything can be a variable as long as it follows certain names. So first of all, it should begin with a, okay. Suddenly someone's video started. Okay. So see, first of all, the variables are case sensitive. So these two values are very different. A small n and a capital N are very different. So even this will be a different value altogether. This won't be a valid value, but okay, this. So this is different from this. So if you try printing capital I int var, it will print 5, but a small I int var will print 4. Okay. So they are case sensitive in the sense.
928.
I'm muting everyone. Okay. So one is this. Then there is another thing. You can use all the characters like small a to small z, capital A to capital Z from 0 to 9, obviously. And apart from that, an underscore. Then next thing is numbers are allowed except in the start of the variable name. So this is a pretty straightforward thing. So 9yu is not a legal variable name, but yu9 is definitely a legal variable name. This is what it means to say. So this will create an error. So if you try executing, it will give so invalid syntax, obviously. Okay, so this is what is meant. Then name can begin with an underscore. That's also fine. That's pretty straightforward. Like we have documented this notebook in order for it to be self-explanatory, but there are some things that can we use symbols in variable name? No, not as such. So a dollar or a ampersand cannot be used. Like random symbols cannot be used. For example, this is not a like a correct variable name. So this is also invalid syntax. Can't assign to an operator because star in itself has a special meaning, and that meaning is multiplication for those. Like, okay, we'll talk about that later on, operators and stuff. Okay, so invalid variable name. See, to int var a dollar, and then this. Those familiar with programming in a conventional sense like C and C++, this is an invalid statement here. It will treat it as a complete variable, and like those who are coming from a C background might follow it might find it difficult to follow around for the simple reason because there you have to declare variables. Here you don't have to declare variable type. At least do have to like mention their name and assign them values, but you don't have to declare the values. Then some conventions. So camel case is basically the first word starts with a small letter and all the subsequent words start with a capital letter without any spaces in between. So if you want to write int var, or that's short for integer variable, so you can write it like this, where v will be capital and I will be small. So these are basic convention. You may or may not follow them, but do keep in mind you need to remember what variables you are using. So use something that you can follow along later on in your program as well. Okay. Then Python allows multiple assignment to the single statement. Okay. I'm pretty sure we have not talked about arithmetic. Okay, so integer is later on. Okay, so let's see. There are two ways. So for example, let's see, if you want to like assign x equal to 1, y equal to 2, and z equal to 3, this is a pretty straightforward way of doing it. Okay, and let's just comment this out. This will print x1, y2, z3 as expected. But another way of assigning this could be in a single line. You can assign the values 1, 2, 3 to all these variables in a single line like this. So these two will yield the same results. No issues with that. Okay. So in the chat. What's the difference between int var and capital I int var? Okay. So as I said, int var and capital I int var are nothing but case difference. So okay, let's see. Int var is equal to 0 and int var is equal to 1. What I mean by case sensitive is that if you see closely, small I and capital I are different cases altogether. This is a lowercase, this is a uppercase. So these two will be treated as different variables altogether. This will create a separate memory location. This will create a separate one. And don't worry about this 4 and 5. This is coming because we executed this block of code earlier. Okay. That's good to see some of you are already solving your own doubts in the question. That's always helps in a live lecture. Why is a single quote used for here? Okay, so it's pretty much interchangeable. So can definitely use double quote if I'm not wrong. Yeah. That will also create the same thing. In Python, the fact is like, okay, I realize my mistake right now. So earlier I said anything within a single quote acts as a character. I was wrong there. In Python, single quotes and double quotes actually follow the same thing. It's not an issue. So if you use double quotes or you use single quotes, that will act as a, what you call, in the same way. They are interchangeable, except for the fact you can use triple quotes for a longer block of text that we'll see later on. Any escape character for going to new line? Okay, %x used in print. Okay. Let's talk about this print statement first of all. Okay, so first of all, let's see what this print statement tried to do. This print statement tried to do was say that x is a value, x is a variable whose value is 1. Okay, so now you want to replace this x with its value. So this is a text and this %d is used as a placeholder. What is a placeholder? A placeholder is basically used to mark a position in the text and replace it with something later on. Okay. So for example, here I declare that after x, a colon and a space, there will be a number. A %d means there will be a number. And then this percentage followed by x. Here x is the variable that I declare here, is used to replace this value. So for example, if I replace this by 8, what it will do it, you see for yourself. It will say x colon space is 8. The value of x is 8. Essentially, this is what it's doing. So I guess this point was clear that 3 lines of different statement can be reduced to a single line. Point 1. The second point you need to take in is how to print like text and numbers side by side. This is called placeholder method. And we'll talk more about this while we use string. Yeah, %d is only for int. You can have no. Python is not a compiled code, it's an interpreted code, so don't get confused with that. So %d is like common for those people who have like programmed in C. You use it in scanf, printf, and all that stuff. So is it %x specifies the address if you okay, so this is something interesting. Not exactly. %d won't specify the address per se, it specifies the value directly. Is it similar to plus in Java? So no, in a concatenation process, or I think so. I should not confuse others with this Java talk right now. How did you manage to print code in different line? Whenever you create a separate print statement, it automatically goes on to the next line. This is a feature of Python itself. So if you want to like print stuff in the same line, you either need to use the same print statement, or you can use something like endl is equal to blank code. So this is what I mean. So this will like print y in the same. Okay, wait. Wait. Yeah, okay, yeah, correct. And so this will like remove that effect of automatically moving on to the new line. So if you remove this, it will automatically move on to the new line with every print statement. But if you want that y goes on to the same statement and that escape character function you don't need, you can just use end is equal to empty quotes. Basically, this specifies what you want to use as a ending delimiter, but don't worry about that right now. I can skip on to that. Please compile this after removing %d. It won't work. So if you want to do it like this, it won't work. And if you want an alternative method to do this, you can definitely try like this. So see, this is what I was saying. You can do this also. Maybe this works. To get my point across. Do we have to run the same program on the link which you have provided? I don't get the question. I guess you can run any program. Okay. Specifically, can we use a single print function to print XYZ? Yes, exactly. Now, let's see how we can do that. So first of all, let's see print. Then we have X. Then let's say %d. Then a Y. A %d again. And then a Z, let's say. Okay. And then %d. Then you just specify everything. That should work out of the box as expected. Then not enough argument to format the string. Wait, did I miss something? Was that the comma thing? I think it was the comma thing. Wait. I don't exactly remember right now how to do this. Batao.
All the arguments need to go in the same parenthesis.
Oh yeah, correct. Right. That must have been the case. C habits die hard. Yep. Okay, so this is how you do it, as Prakhar rightly pointed out. Okay, so X will it work? Nope, it won't, because like as you see, you have to use a % sign to replace all these values inside this. Sorry, both X is same. Yeah, both X is same. I know. Okay. Now so any issues up till here, like the print thing, at least the print statement I think was clear, and this assignment was very clear in the beginning only. Anyone facing any issues right now? I would like you all to like just ask your questions, because this is what live sessions are for. We have to learn the syntax of Python step by step. Like any site will help you. Like just Google Python. There is a pretty good documentation as such. Then there is Learn Python 3 the Hard Way. This is a very famous book. You'll get to know a lot of stuff. What was the problem before? Okay, so one of your friends has asked what was the problem before. So the earlier what the problem was, I used percentage in 3 different situations. So what it was trying to do, it was like replacing the initial values. There were not sufficient values for it to replace this is basically a syntactic feature wherein you need to provide all these values inside a same parenthesis, which is for like preceded by a percentage sign. Print x end is equal to this, explain. Okay, so like one of your friends had asked, why is it moving to a next line whenever we use a different print statement? So this is the automatic behavior of Python. So if you watch closely, when I printed print y and then print z, it moved on to the next line. But when I used end fall is equal to empty quotes, what I did was I prevented it from moving on to the next line, because everything that you can do, wait, print x comma, this is working on my PC. Yeah, it should work. I think what he asked was print x without a comma, or maybe I misread. Yes, exactly. /n is used to change lines. I didn't want to mention it because we have not talked about escape characters in details. So essentially whatever you type with the, like any key on your keyboard has a representation in any programming language, so to speak. So for example, a backspace is a carriage return and a enter key is nothing but a /n. So /n, as I mentioned, that slash, a double quote or a slash or a single quote, these are called escape characters that are used to like used in places where some specific meaning has to be conveyed. One of you guys is asking, you are learning C currently, should I learn Python? That depends. Actually, the thing is, C is not that advanced in terms that you won't be able to like do projects and stuff very quickly with C. You would have to like do a lot of linking and stuff. So I would see, we are teaching you Python because later on we'll be talking about some things like OpenCV, image processing and stuff like that. Those are very advanced things, like a bit too advanced to be done in C. So the projects that we usually do in any of the clubs, you'll be needing Python for that. That's the sole reason that we like organize this lecture. Learning to like is not recommended. Okay, yeah, sure. But I would suggest if you don't have C in this semester, go for Python. That will help because like most of the activities will be conducted in Python in general. 8 in a separate line without using %d, because I just printed x, the value of x. That's the reason why it printed 8 in a separate line automatically. So this is a separate print statement, and this will continue from where it left off in the earlier mode, and then print 8, then like shift the cursor to the new line before printing y is 2 or whatever it is.
Excuse me, if we wouldn't have wrote print statement in the first line, which is written in the first line with end equal to, and directly we would have written print in parenthesis x, would have been worked.
You can see it for yourself, I guess. Yeah. Cool. Who asked a question? If that's fine, or you were expecting something else to happen here. If that's the case, you can just raise your hand or ask a question directly. If you expected something else to happen here, so we can talk about why it did not happen. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so this is a basic overview of print statement, so to speak, but fine. Now let's see. Variables could be of different types. So earlier we talked about how you can assign different variables in different lines or different variables in same line. Here we see that exactly A will be assigned to 1, B will be assigned to a string by the name hi, and C will be assigned to a float. And when you try printing it, it will print all these 3. And if you watch closely, what the placeholder we use for int is d, the one that we use for string is s, and the one that we use for float is f. So if I run this cell, yes, we'll be covering only what is mentioned in this notebook today. That's it. So if you watch closely, 23.56 changed to 23.56 with 4 zeros at the end. So that's something you should see. So this is what we call precision. So it increased the precision to 6 points because that's how float actually works internally. So 6 decimal places. We might talk about that more if we like cover float in more detail later on, but that's not very important. So let's see, print formatting in Python. So earlier, like we have already talked about print formatting in Python, but here is a quick overview. %d followed by some integer value. You can replace this with x, that was some value earlier on. So that will display 8 probably. And just check it for yourself. Yeah, this will 8, and then yeah, 23 will be displayed as 23.760, and this will be this. So as I said, string for s, f for float, and d for integers. And this, if you watch closely, we used 0.3f. So what this 0.3f does is it tells the interpreter to only use 3 decimal digits after the dot. So if you see here, we have 760, like 3 decimal digits exactly. Any issues up till now? Wait. Yeah. So yes, we can omit the 0. No issues with that. Now moving on, let's talk about some basic maths. Okay, so I'll first run this cell and then walk you through it. That will be helpful. So first of all, we declare 2 variables, x and y, okay, that have values 36 and 11. Then pretty much we do what it says we do. So first of all, we try to calculate their sum, x plus y, followed by the difference. That's not actually difference, that's subtraction. Like had you replaced y with x, it will have printed -25. So it's not per se difference. Then we have product, we multiply 36 with 11, we get 396, obviously. Then we have exponential, so x to the power of y. So you get a very big number, something I won't be able to calculate in my head. Then we have a float division and an end division. Okay, so now let's talk about this for a moment. If I ask you, what is 36 divided by 3? Most of you will say 12. But if I ask you what is 37 divided by 3, some of you will say 37 divided by 3 is basically 12 whole 1 by 3. Now there are 2 options. Either report this extra 1 by 3 or omit it. Okay, so if we want only the quotient, that is essentially the integer quotient that we need. So in this case, we'll get 3. However, if we do a float division, we'll get the decimal part as well, as can be seen here, 3.272727 and 3 here. And then see, since we, okay, yeah, something in chat. Okay, then we have what, as I said, that we can get the quotient and we can also get the remainder. So in order to get the remainder, that will be 3 in this case, we can use x percentage y. So that is also known as the modulus operator. So this is used to return the remainder. So as you can see, the remainder will be 3. And just for the hell of it, I'll replace it with 45 and some other number, maybe let's say 7. Sure, why not? Okay, so this is something else that you would get. So it's pretty much it. And this is something of a syntax, like this is syntax essentially. You need to remember this stuff, that how plus works, how you use exponential. In certain languages, why you use double slash, it's a syntax. You use double slash if you want to get the quotient, and a single slash if you want to get the float value, the quotient dot followed by the remainder. That exactly. Exponent int se long ho gaya kya? So, okay, for those of you who don't understand what he said that they did get converted internally from integer to a long value. It's not a time to confuse, but okay, I'll just tell you. As said earlier, there are three types of variables, numeric types: integer, float, and complex. Nowhere did I mention long or something like that, for the simple reason there is nothing like long. Int is int. It's an integer. Any kind of integer, be it long, short, anything, is an integer. So don't worry about it. Akshit asked that. What is syntax? I'd say Google it. What's the syntax? There's not everything that I can explain to you at this point of time. Syntax. Okay, so let's move on. Then, okay, so this was integer value operations, and then I'll just yeah, that's something I see. Was anyone able to see what the error was here? Okay.
It's line double quote.
Double quotes, yeah. In fact, not even here. It expects a double quote here, to be honest, the way this was written. X after subtraction is this. Either remove the double quotes or just keep the single quotes, whatever. This is it. So yeah, now let's see the shorthands for notation. So this actually is same as x is equal to x plus 4. This is nothing but this only. Like you can use, you can manipulate spaces in between, but not at the start at least. You'll get the hang of it later on, but definitely this is nothing but what I've written in comment. So can we use both double and single quotes? Yeah, you can. They can be used interchangeably. But for example, if you want to print single quotes inside a double quotes, that's also allowed. This will work. You'll get proper single quotes. But if you want to print double quotes inside a double quotes, that won't work. For that, you will need this escape character. This is what the difference is. And same goes on to like here also. If you want to see, like you are free to use this, put x followed by something. But like, okay, so this is something I already showed. The interchangeability is like this only. You can like print double quotes inside single quote. That will work. Double quotes, x and stuff. You won't need to do this. This will essentially work the same way. Okay, so this creates no difference here, but you won't be able to print single quotes inside single quotes. For that, you will be needing escape characters. This is what the difference is. Okay. So yeah, I'll just reset it to its original state. Okay. Move on. So any issues till this point of time? Like any problem? Is there not any format specified for characters? I would say you don't need that. Concatenation works fine. Will we get a recording of the session? Yes, you will get a recording of the session. I would request any of you to like ask questions right now. Do we need to know if the answer is in int or float? No, not actually, but it helps to know. Like if you, how many decimal will it report? Usually 6 decimal places, but you can adjust it with the format specifier as shown earlier, point followed by the number of decimal places that we know. Like coming back to the question that he asked, Subrajit asked, do we need to know if the answer is int or float? That depends. Like if you actually concern yourself with the answer, then you might need to know, and otherwise from Python side, you actually don't need to know. So for example, since you actually don't declare initially whether it will be a float or something else, so you actually don't need to know. But for example, if you are doing a calculation and want to be very sure that the answer that we get is a int and not a float, so it helps using that type function that we talked about earlier, or like ensuring manually that you use double slash instead of a single slash, because if you want only the quotient and all that stuff. So yeah, do we need to know if the answer is an int or float? That will depend upon you if you actually want to know or not. Depends upon the use case, to be very honest. We did not specify the variable type. What if we try printed %str instead of %d? So that's something we can try right here, right now. Okay. We'll give an error. Yeah, so %d format specifier requires a number, not a str, so it will throw an error.
What if we
Yes,
use
5.0 by 3
percentage?
and 5 by 3 are same in Python 3, not in Python 2. Okay, so like, but I don't think so. We need to talk about that right now. Python 2 is actually dead at this point of time. So yeah, 5.0 by 3 and 5 by 3 are same. Point through shows that only 3 decimal digits. Explain this. What should I explain? Like 3 denotes the number of decimal places that will be displayed. So 3 decimal digits essentially. What are local variables and global variables in Python? I'm pretty sure I never talked about global and local words as such. So I don't know why are you rushing. We'll talk about that when we get to object-oriented programming or functions in general. So just wait for that time. Okay, so are there
if
any
you
more
have
questions?
written
Yeah, sure.
like you have written x after multiplication, %d you have written, if the answer would have been a float, then also %d would manage it.
Okay, so let's see. I think so you're talking about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it won't. Okay, yeah, so okay. I take my words back. It would, but it would typecast it to what do you call it? So let's talk about typecasting. Prakhar, just remind me, have you talked about typecasting later on in this, or should I like complete the typecasting here itself, since it's as uploaded right now?
Typecasting is discussed after all the data types are being discussed.
Okay, so why this actually happened and why I said no and it actually worked. So we'll come to know later on in the process called typecasting. Typecasting, simply put, converts one type of data into another. So if you see the result that would have been right, if you try to print just X without any placeholder or anything, it will print 24.0. But if you print it with this %d, so to speak, it will print 24. So if you also like this 24 here is an integer, but this 24.0 here is a float. So if you observe closely, this float was converted to an integer while printing. So this conversion of one type of data to another is called typecasting, and we'll talk about it more later on. So can
Instead
you
of
print
3.0,
more
can't
than
we go to 3.5? Means 3.0 can.
Sure, why not? Okay, so you want to see something weird to happen, right? So this is what will happen.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Yeah, I was asking that how long will this session go on, because I have another workshop at 7.
As mentioned in the schedule, this is expected to go on up till 9 today.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about typecasting in greater detail later on. I would request Prakhar to take over from here, and he'll be like guiding you through the rest of the session. And if you have any question, doubts, or anything like that, you can just post it in the chat. And Prakhar will be also taking regular breaks, just like me, after covering certain amount of topics. And yeah, and we'll be available on Slack. So the Slack channel is pretty active. If you'll message one of the Sekis or the coordinator like me, will like surely answer your doubt. So Prakhar, you can take on from here.